Hey, what is up guys? This is Josh the Gamer here, coming at you with a brand new video. So today in this Quorum game development tutorial, we are going to be learning about input polling. Now, what is input polling? Well, input polling is pretty much getting input from the user every frame. This is using the update action. The other approach to user input, using the keyboard or mouse or whatever, is using event handling. However, we are not going to be covering event handling in this tutorial. That is another tutorial. I believe it is the tutorial after this one. So, let's get right into it. First, what you want to do is you need the input monitor class. So we're going to go ahead and do use libraries.game.input monitor. Now, input monitor is pretty much a class that we need for input polling. It constantly will monitor for key presses, stuff like that. So, let's go ahead and get this started. So, inside of our class main here, above our main action, we need to declare an input monitor object. So, input monitor, we're just going to say iMonitor. And now that we have that done, we can go down into our update action. And what is this error? Okay, anyway, what we want is we're going to do an if statement here. So, if iMonitor colon. Now, we can get the mouse X, get the mouse Y. We can get whether the mouse was clicked or not, whether it be the left, right, or middle mouse buttons. We can get key presses. We can get whatever mouse button was pressed. We can detect whether the mouse wheel was scrolled. We can detect whether a specific item was clicked, which is good for, say, a button in a main menu, and you don't want to use the button class. Same thing goes for this action. It does pretty much the same thing. And yeah, however, in this tutorial, we are going to cover keyboard input with input polling, and you guys can experiment with all the mouse stuff if you so please. So let's go ahead and do that. Now, before we actually do anything else with this if statement, we also need a keyboard event object. So we need to import keyboard event as well. So use libraries .interface .events .keyboard event, and then keyboard event. Now we do parentheses around here, and now inside of these parameters for is key pressed, it needs to take a key. Do event colon, and then nothing really is going on here in terms of showing what we have for key values. So we just need to kind of, I guess, look through the documentation if you really want. I would recommend looking through the documentation to see what keys are actually there. However, since I know what keys are there, I'm just going to say, let's just say the up key. And now all the keys are named constants. Alright. Now what we want to do is, let's say, output up button was pressed. Now what this will do is this will constantly run every single frame, as the key is pressed. Sometimes this is ideal, sometimes it's not. So let's go ahead and save that and run it. We're going to build it. Now, as you can see here, we have our nice little window. And go ahead and look at the console. When you hit the up button, it outputs up button was pressed. So it's detecting our key presses with ease. The same thing goes for any other key on the keyboard, such as A, B, whatever, A, S, D, F, G, H, J, K, L, semicolon, whatever, it's there. You just need to look at the documentation to see what keys are actually there. Anyways, guys, that pretty much does it for this tutorial on input polling. It's not very difficult to understand. I will leave a link to the reference page for input polling as well, so you guys can kind of see the Quorum language, the Quorum team's tutorial on event polling to kind of give you guys an understanding, or a deeper understanding of how it works. So anyways, guys, that'll pretty much do it. I will see you all in the next tutorial where we will be handling keyboard input using event handling.